Welcome, everybody. There's a reason why you tuned into this podcast. This is the Drop Culture Podcast. We got a lot of shit to say about nothing. And this is our very first one, and this episode is about Buckaroo Banzai. Talk about I don't know how else to describe this except for being one of the biggest cult movies of the 80s that so many people know about it, but so many people don't know about it. There's so many great people in it.
My God, dude, I forgot how many people were in this movie.
It's fucking crazy.
Like, every time I turn around, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What?
And what is it, you ask? Buckaroo Banzai.
The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai across the 8th dimension.
Oh, God.
Which was, oddly enough, directed by one of the writers of Big Trouble in Little China.
Yes, and that was actually supposed to be a sequel.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
We could totally actually sound like them. Because if I blend this in,
that sounds like that sounds like a Electroid,
right?
Yeah, one of the bad guys. Yeah,
exactly. Maybe he's a black Electroid.
Ooh, they were the good ones.
That's
too.
what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. He could have been a black Electroid.
John Parker.
I got two questions right off the bat. The guy that gets hit in the spine, or whatever, starts losing his feelings in his legs and dies.
Clancy Brown.
Yeah.
I know other movies with him. I just can't.
Dude,
I'm trying to.
Yeah, we just named him before the part.
Highlander. He was a bad guy in it.
Oh yeah.
He's Mr. Krabs' voice from SpongeBob.
No way. Okay,
Clancy
but
Brown.
I know him from visual, not from audio.
He was in the show Carnival. He was the preacher.
What's a newer thing?
Oh shit, I don't know.
Damn, he's been in so much.
He's been in a lot.
But it's more like 80s stuff. Or like
no. That's whenever he started.
Okay.
Highlander was
70s was when he started, right?
Yeah, Highlander was one of his big breakthrough kind of roles for it, which was fucking tremendous.
That's cool.
Every time I see him, I'm like,
because he's got that
Mr.
same
Krabs.
kind of voice too, but not Mr. Krabs' voice at all.
What was the prison movie he was in?
Which
was
one?
He in Shawshank?
Yes, he was, wasn't he?
I think so.
Yes, he's been in so many big movies.
Jailed up.
No, was it Shawshank?
I don't know.
No, he wasn't in Shawshank because that was Tom Hanks and the rest of the Frank Darabont crew.
I feel like he's been in some action movie of some sort.
He was in the Venture Brothers.
God, he's been in so many things.
Brothers.
Yeah,
he was Red Death.
I have so many. I have this little note sheet right here of the big guys that are in there, because the writer,
he was on an episode of Rick and Morty.
What? Yeah, he's been on all kinds of stuff. Earl Mac Rauch, maybe I'm saying it wrong. Rauch or Rauch.
It doesn't matter.
Well, I mean, this whole idea behind Buckaroo Banzai started, I think, in the 70s, late 70s, early 80s. And he met that W.D. Richter, which W.D. Richter was a big-time writer.
Right.
Wrote a lot of scripts, was living off of that, moved to Hollywood. They reconnected and said, hey, let's make this movie. You know what it was originally titled? They had two original titles.
No.
Find the Jet Car, said the president, a Buckaroo Banzai thriller. And there was another one that was called Lepers from Saturn.
What?
Yeah, so they were stewing on this idea for a long time, but you know the movie Invasion of the Body Snatchers, the one that came out in the 70s?
Yeah, that was W.D. Richter as well.
Jeff Goldblum was in that. Guess who?
Yeah, that's right.
Guess who they got together at that point and got already intertwined back then with making this movie.
Really?
He basically was like, yeah, I'll do it. And he doesn't play a big part.
No, not even a huge part at all.
No, Jeff Goldblum is pretty cool in it.
He doesn't really lead the story at all. He's just kind of there as a character.
He's there, yeah.
A doctor, you know.
Well, when you watch the releases, like I had an original VHS copy of it. I found it at a thrift store years ago when I had my bigger VHS collection. And I think the very first time I saw this movie was on IFC, maybe.
What was it?
IFC, when IFC was cool. Mm-hmm. Again, it was one of those things that was kind of like in the 90s. I remember them talking about it.
IFC was cool in the 90s.
Yeah, no commercials.
Yeah, it was badass.
They had a lot of cool shit.
Here's a cool fucking movie you didn't even think about until you just saw this.
Yeah.
With no commercials.
And they were talking about it and was like, oh my God, I got to watch this. This is weird. It's got Peter Weller in it. Well, that's weird.
Yeah.
RoboCop.
He was in the Shawshank Redemption. He was Captain Hadley.
See,
yeah.
I didn't know if he was part of the deal, but I was.
And he was the dad from Pet Sematary 2.
That's where I know. No, I'm just
Top or whatever.
Yeah, he was the asshole dad.
Yeah.
No,
was he stepdad?
Yeah.
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 They usually are.
Yeah.
Fucking stepdads. Like me.
Like me.
Yeah. But
No. I mean, the idea had
Okay.
been stewing for a long time.
right. Well,
And then they pretty much hired one of the best ensemble casts that you could see in any movie in the 80s. There's so many different people in that movie that each one of them could have been a lead actor in any given movie, except for like that Pepe Ceveda guy. I don't know if he could have been a lead actor in a movie.
Probably not. He's definitely an ensemble kind
Yeah,
of guy.
very, very good character. Just
Yeah.
like Perfect Tommy.
Perfect Tommy. Yeah, he didn't really do a lot.
He did. His biggest movie that I can remember the most was Heaven Can Wait, or Heaven
Yeah,
Can't Wait.
yeah.
Where he was a hot
Kinda.
rod dude that died in a hot rod duel before he went over the cliff and
I
shit like that.
barely remember that movie, but
Yeah.
yes, I do.
Yeah,
remember it.
but he had his brown hair.
Yeah,
He was a pretty cool character in that. I mean, Perfect Tommy was a badass character too.
absolutely.
He's cool. I mean, most of the people that were on that had.
And why would I do that? Because you're perfect.
Yeah, he's like, well, you got a point. So many good parts, so many good lines. Like the one line that translates through any movie, and I don't know if it had to have been pre Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, where it was like, remember, no matter where you go,
There you are.
there you are.
I actually, and you're right. There were so many. So let me. Let's Tarantino this shit back, right? So my first experience with this movie was I was probably 12, and it was on HBO.
Oh,
Back in the day,
Home
when,
box office.
yeah. and or the Skinamax. I don't know which
people
one.
don't know what HBO stands for nowadays.
That's
Kids at
weird.
least. Yeah.
Fucking kids.
Yeah.
Hobo
No,
channel.
don't do that.
Yeah, that's bad. That's
Bad.
bad. You might be. Never mind.
Yeah, never mind. Wait, so moving on.
The head of state. No. Anyways, but
Oh, goodness.
so yeah, I had not actually seen this since I was probably 12.
Did you remember it at 12?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Fuck yeah,
Did I
it's
remember?
just crazy.
Did I remember all of it? No. No, and I did not remember. Of course, at that time, Jeff Goldblum was the Fly.
Nobody.
I
He
guess.
He was the Fly, yeah.
Yeah, you know,
Everybody
so-
knew him from that. Brundlefly.
Peter Weller was RoboCop. That's
Yeah.
the only two people I recognized as a kid. I'm sure.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
Yeah, no, well, I mean, because...
Well, Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah, Christopher Lloyd, Back to the Future. I mean, Peter Weller, RoboCop.
At 12, I probably didn't know who John Lithgow really was.
But he was there.
No, absolutely.
He'd been in so many different
Absolutely,
things.
but I was 12.
Right. And then Goldblum, and then that Lewis Smith, Perfect Tommy. Now his scientist friend, the Robert Ito guy.
Mm-hmm.
He never really did a lot of stuff afterwards. I think he became a writer more than
Okay.
anything. Everything that I read.
I didn't find much on him, to be honest.
No, that Pepe Serna guy been in a lot of extra things. He was always kind of a back character, kind of like a couple of the Electroids that they had too.
Oh, two of them specifically.
What's his name? Dan Hedaya.
Who's
Yes.
that one?
Yeah, he was.
Like the whole
The
time I
tall,
was watching.
ganglier
Well,
one?
you had. Well, no, he
No,
wasn't
he's
that
the
guy.
short
Okay.
guy.
Yeah, he was in
The
the
short
Addams Family.
Yes.
Oh, the uncle or whatever?
No, not Uncle Fester. Well, that's another thing. Christopher Lloyd and that
Right.
guy were in the same movie too.
Yeah, there you go.
But he just like the other guy with the weird face. That guy. You know all those guys.
Absolutely. The
Guy
tall-
smoking the pipe and everything.
Yeah, that was so funny.
Yeah.
He's like,
that was a pretty legit pipe.
Yeah,
I know, it
dude.
was like a meerschaum pipe or something like that. It was like
like the
crazy.
bottom of that thing was like this thick. You
Yeah,
know, just like,
and he just pulls it out, and they're like, "Hey, what's up?"
break it open. He's like, hey, don't touch that.
Okay, I asked you a question, and this will lead to that.
I have one answer.
The Breaking Bad connection.
No, I never met
Jonathan Banks.
I forgot which one because I remembered the Star Trek,
Okay,
and I think I'm pretty positive the part that you
you know who
associate with
Jonathan
that.
Banks is, right?
Elizabeth Banks's
No,
mother.
no. Okay, he was a hospital guard. Remember when he goes in there when John Lithgow puts the shit on his tongue,
Absolutely.
and he starts tripping back.
He takes his
right?
TV.
Yeah, because he said you use so many kilowatts or something like that.
He breaks his neck later, right?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
kills that guy while he's talking on the phone to Yo-Yo Dine, right?
Okay.
Okay, that guy is Jesus.
The director?
Jesus?
He's Jesus.
Oh,
He's
fucking
on-
Christ.
Praise be.
He's on Breaking Bad, and he's on Better Call Saul.
Oh, that main guy?
Yeah, the older guy.
The old guy.
Yeah.
Oh, no
Yeah.
way.
That's him.
I did not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, whenever I was watching Breaking Bad, I was like, dude, I know that guy. It's
Right.
Buckaroo Banzai.
I
He's
can't
from that
even-
movie.
I can't even remember his name or like his character name.
Yeah, it's escaping me, but it'll come back. No, but for real, I mean, he was. This is a crazy
Probably
connection.
young at that point.
But then the Star Trek connections too. I'll get to that later.
Okay.
Because there's 2 Star Trek connections.
Well,
Did
the
a lot
one
of
is
reading about
obvious,
it.
I think. I mean, I won't say it. We'll wait. But I mean, like,
Yeah.
at the same time, like, there's one that I was like, yeah, that's definitely probably what he's talking about.
There's a lot of stuff online about this stuff. There's a lot of stuff that you could research. There's pages beyond pages, and that's why it's such a big thing
Yeah.
that not a lot of people know about. But it's so huge. The underground,
And
for
they
it is
have
big.
every single like over the top like over movie like budget done like where he's ramping off the road with the motorcycle. It was like cut so it was like cut like that old style. You know?
Yeah.
Like 90s Captain America.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or like when he's running away from the van on the bridge, it was like obviously he was going so slow, like it was almost painful.
Oh, and you know that, and I think where they filmed that part of it, that reminded me a lot of Roger Rabbit. You know, before they go into Toontown and the bridge right there, that thing's pretty popular.
Right?
Where they did a lot of the filming because that was around Griffith Park too. So
You said
in
they were
LA.
the original ones for most of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's cool.
I will say the first half of this movie does not waste a damn scene.
No,
Like everything is progressing
Yes.
the story.
yep.
And I mean, you know, for a guy named Buckaroo Banzai, kind of a badass.
Yeah.
Kind of a badass. Going from brain surgery with Jeff Goldblum
To driving the jet car.
testing a jet car
To the eighth
wait.
dimension.
wait to being a rock star.
Oh yeah.
What?
And you know Peter Weller can play guitar.
Well, I also know that he can play whatever that little horn was.
The pocket trumpet?
Yes, and the piano.
He's literally like got a PhD in that shit, I think.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I think he
just
he
knew.
holds 3 PhDs. He's a teacher. So you could actually take a class taught by Peter Weller.
So weird.
The character, he's a neurosurgeon, particle physicist,
Yes.
race car driver, rock star, comic book hero.
Yeah,
And he
he's
owns
got
the
his own
rights to
comic books.
all of that shit.
Which aliens
What's
have.
his group called? The
Yeah.
Cavaliers?
Yeah,
The what Cavaliers?
the Hong Kong Cavaliers.
Hong Kong Cavaliers.
Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
Dude, that's crazy that you say that,
Right?
Because that was one of the things. It was like, how did they get that shit in space?
Right.
Because the dude's like, oh, it's Buckaroo Banzai.
And they pull out the magazine.
It's the newest issue.
I'm not
It's
trying
like-
to sell a magazine.
They're from a different dimension. How the fuck did they get the subscription?
Well, I
up
mean,
in
they've
space?
been.
It would be so
It sounded
big.
like they were kind of hanging out, orbiting the
Yeah.
Earth for a while.
Maybe they
Well,
sent somebody down.
So
and
they were
picked
like,
it up.
"Oh, hey,
It's
little
like they
Bob
came
Marley
along.
looking guy, go down there and grab that and come back."
Well, you know that guy. You know the first one that steps up above the thermal pod,
Right.
and he's looking out. He was the bad guy on a Steven Seagal movie.
My God, I haven't seen like any Steven Seagal movies.
No, it wasn't Steven
It's okay.
Seagal.
You're not missing
no,
anything.
that's what I
No,
heard.
it
That's-
wasn't Steven Seagal. He was the bad. He was the Jamaican bad guy.
Oh, in Marked for Death.
No.
Oh, that would
In
be so cool. That was a good one.
Predator
that was actually
2.
one that I would say you would watch.
Yeah?
Steven Seagal movie.
Yeah, that was probably one of the best ones. Predator 2.
Oh, really?
Remember the guy with the sword
Yeah,
that he meets in
yeah.
the alley? That's him.
Nice.
That's crazy too. There's so many people in this movie, like Rosalind Cash,
Yes,
right?
actually, I was reading about her earlier today.
What movie was she in that was the most popular?
It was actually before this movie.
Yeah, way before.
Yeah, it was
It's another cult movie too. Omega Man.
Omega Man. That
Yes.
was it. Yeah.
Yeah.
She was the main love interest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was the main chick in it.
Yeah.
Now she was the
Or
one
chick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah,
Whatever
one
the
of the last
popular
people,
vernacular. Whatever the popular vernacular is.
Well, she was the one that
Vernacular?
was.
That's what I was trying to say.
You remember when they had the weird like bubble,
That was so.
Yeah,
Oh,
the bubble wrap
It
stuff.
took me out of it a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe back in the day, obviously, but I was just like, really?
No, not even back in the day because Star Wars was made before this.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah,
There.
yeah. Because well, it reminds me of PX-41 or PX-42. What is that fucking What is that shitty movie? Dude, Where's My Car?
Yeah.
Totally different reference, too.
Oh, my God.
Remember they had the little pop suits and everything?
Yes, and they're walking around like...
That's what it always reminded me of, dude.
I think anytime somebody says the name of that movie, a little bit of my soul dies.
I loved it
It's
back
still
in the
funny.
day.
It's still funny.
It's like,
there is some funny parts.
Yeah.
it's a stupid funny movie. Like,
Yeah.
you just watch it because you have nothing else to watch.
And I'm that guy. As much as I love comedy, like I did not enjoy Dumb and Dumber. I did not enjoy that dude. Where's my thing?
I don't know you anymore.
I know. And don't get me wrong. There's parts where I laughed.
Yeah.
But like through the whole movie, I did not enjoy the
It was
entire movie.
that dumb, yeah.
Pretty bird.
And I think I have a really hard time watching people be dumb.
Hey, you
It's
know what?
uncomfortable for me.
That's the
I'm
title
like,
of one of those movies.
Well,
is Dumb
I
and
guess,
Dumber.
I guess that's a compliment for us.
Yeah, I choose to hang out with you guys because you're not dumb or dumber.
Dumber. The Dumb and Dumberer was awful.
Yeah, unfortunately, because I have a little brother, I saw part of that.
Yeah. Did you see the shit scene in the bathroom?
No, I did not because
that's
I
so
was
funny.
like maybe 10 minutes in, and I'm like, well,
Nope.
fucking out of here.
Yep.
When he's swallowing the pieces
Yeah.
from Monopoly Board. He's like, you got to eat it. He's like, he like swallows a house or some shit.
Yeah.
No, they're just this movie right here is not my guilty pleasure. There's a lot more of those, but this one is the movie that if you want to really, I don't know, get to know me better, Buckaroo Banzai, and I'm like, holy shit,
Yeah. You like click immediately
Yeah.
somebody if they already know it.
you're my best friend.
Yeah.
You know this movie too.
You're the other person I've heard about?
yes.
So I'm going to say this: the first time I watched it, I just wanted to experience it
Yeah.
again. I didn't want to take any notes. I was just okay.
Right.
So when I went to go watch it again, I like kind of prepared myself to not critique it pretty hard.
But see things, yeah.
But really what I found is there's a really cool basis, minus some of the names and weird 80s shit.
Yeah.
But there's a good basis for kind of a kick-ass story within all this.
kinds
You know
of
what
stories,
I mean?
yeah.
Exactly. Like, I was super excited to see the trailer for the movie that was never made.
Yeah.
What was it? World...
Oh, the World Crime League?
That's
yeah,
it.
Hanoi Shan.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that would be so good.
Oh,
after I watched it, like the first time, and then after I watched it the second time, I was like, man, that would be really good. What if they did it with like today? You don't have to do a big, huge budget. $48 million. That's what they made with the last, not the new Predator, the old Predator for.
Yeah,
You know?
it was
something
great.
like that.
Well-
Not the old Predator.
Yeah,
like
Predators.
the Predators.
Yeah.
They made for like $48 million.
Nice.
And then they doubled the budget and made the same amount of money for this new one.
Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah, no. I mean, this one you could. I mean, there was actually going to be a TV series. They were developing it. Kevin Smith.
I did read
but the
about
original guys couldn't be part of it, so they couldn't get the rights, and there's been a whole bunch of trouble with it. So he was like, "Later, I'm out."
Right. Because he's Kevin Smith. He can go do whatever he wants.
Yeah, correct. Because God, one time I was just looking through something, and Kevin Smith was doing a podcast with fucking all of the people from this.
He actually
yeah.
specifically went for
Nice.
Buckaroo Banzai?
John Lithgow and everything like that.
Awesome.
And he was really just talking about how kind of the same kind of feelings that I had every time. It was just like, what is this?
Yeah.
Holy shit, what is this? Oh my God, this is the coolest fucking movie and nobody knows it. It's just one of those that's kind of hidden, but it's
a
so
sleeper.
fucking cool.
So remember when I said like the first half of this movie, no wasted space? The wasted space in the second half of the movie is actually my favorite scene.
Which part?
It's when I don't remember who, I think it's Rico.
Which
Is
one?
that that one of the
Ringo. No, I'm just kidding.
one of the Cavaliers?
The Blue Blaze Irregulars?
Yeah.
Which one?
I think it was his name was Rico. I don't remember. Anyways, it's him and Jeff Goldblum running through what looks to be a laboratory of some sort.
Yeah,
and,
yeah,
And
and
there's a
the whole
watermelon.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, why is there a watermelon there? And he's like, stops and hesitates for a moment. And he's like, I'll explain it later.
What? Yeah.
What just
Yeah,
happened to
yeah.
me?
It just makes your brain go like
Yeah,
a
they
mile a
don't
minute.
explain it at all
No,
either.
no, and there's never a point where they tell us what happened with this watermelon and why it's there. And I want to know because
That's
that's the
pretty
kind of
funny.
person I am.
Just
Right.
think of the house that they have too, because you walk in and it's a regular house, and then like he's getting dressed, and he's looking through the deal and he's yelling at that one woman, "Where's my stuff?"
Right.
He's going through all this stuff, and Ellen Barkin's in the other room doing something fucking weird too. And it's just mess of crazy stuff, right? But then all of a sudden, They're in a fucking laboratory.
Exactly.
There's a fucking garage back there. And they're running around this big giant facility, but it's a house. It's like, was this like Prince's fucking place? You know what I mean? It just had a really cool gate.
God, that would have been so cool if Prince would have been in it.
Oh my God, it would have fucking worked. He could have been an Electroid too, man.
Yeah.
He could have made pancakes.
Actually, it would be cool if they had like a big like cameo that was like under the suit of an Electroid.
Electroid.
Yeah, well, I mean, there were so many different people that were part of it.
Well, now they're famous. You know?
Yeah. Some of them not so much, but some of them
yeah.
had been integral parts in different movies.
Absolutely.
Throughout all the years. Like that Pinky Carruthers guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
The bass player for
Yeah.
the Hong Kong Cavaliers is a real musician. Like, for real. Like, he really does do a lot of soundtracks. He still plays live everywhere.
Awesome.
And he actually, whenever they're playing, he's not miming. Neither's Peter Weller.
Right.
You know, but the rest of them, like Perfect Tommy's like, he really can't see this, but he's like, oh. Like, he's not even trying. Right? And then Pinky's actually playing with his pinky.
Yeah.
Which is fucking crazy.
That's awesome.
Right? And he's like a real bass player, and they have a real band.
That's awesome.
So many different things on that. And that was part of the characters of these guys, too. Because they were all... Each one of the characters wasn't really a musician, like Jeff Goldblum. He comes up with the fucking awesome theme, and he's like, ugh. And you're like, shit, I wish I could come up with that.
Yeah, he's like, you're like, what the heck?
Yeah, you're just like, oh, look at all this shit.
Yeah.
You know?
That was like, yeah.
And it's the theme at the very end. It's the Buckaroo Banzai theme.
Yeah,
I could listen to that fucking thing forever.
How did he get away with being in all of these roles and being the exact same character? Like, he doesn't change
Hey,
at all.
for this one, he dressed up like Woody before there was a Woody.
But he didn't change his character. He just looked different.
You're absolutely right. I'm 100% with you.
And that's my question, too, because they don't really delve into his character that much.
No.
They don't in any one of them, but you can build a backstory on each one of these people. Did he really dress like that before? You know, he called him
you
up.
don't know.
He's like, oh, I know you. You're Reno. He's like, nope.
Reno, that was.
I was just gonna say that's probably the name.
That was one of the guys that
Yeah.
wasn't ever present.
Right.
They talked about him like 3 times, but he wasn't.
Oh,
ever
he
there.
wasn't that guy. So who was the other guy? The one that was there with Perfect Tommy. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Moving on.
Yeah, he's the one that had the sling on and everything.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
That. Yeah,
I think that was the guy I was speaking of.
Yeah.
I'll definitely say, like, if I were to pick a favorite character in this for just like, it probably isn't what you think. As weird as this is, it's the main antagonist bad guy.
Oh, John Lithgow.
Thank you.
Yeah, John
Lizardo.
Warford. Yeah.
He,
Dr.
like,
Lizardo.
for some reason,
Lord
his
John Warford.
chaotic like character and his like movements.
Definitely
and
some
everything.
over the top acting.
Yeah,
for
way
him.
over the
But
top.
That's the thing, you know. And I think I wrote this down. Who else could do that?
Nobody.
He did such a great job.
And weirdly enough,
And
because
you know-
you can tell it's over the top, but at the same time, I enjoyed it.
You know where you got that from, too? There was a costume designer on the lot of the studio that used to dress people in the suits, fit them for their costumes and everything. But he was Italian and he talked like that. So he had the guy...
He's Italian and talk like that?
He had the guy read his lines in the script, record them, and then he would go practice those.
I thought he was doing like a Russian.
Yeah.
No.
That's an Italian accent?
All
That
right,
brings a
all
whole
right.
nother
Yeah.
level.
I
to
don't
that.
like John Lithgow as much as I used to. I really thought that was a Russian accent.
It's
Yeah.
fucking so thick and
It
deep
is
and
thick and
weird.
I 100%. No, that is definitely Russian. I don't believe it.
Another thing with this, that now that whole part where he goes back into time, you know, and he's sitting there and they're in this big fucking giant warehouse, which is fucking weird too.
Right.
You know, and he has like a rickshaw
Yeah.
that's on a fucking rubber band. It's about to throw him through solid matter. And it's like, what the fuck, right? Not a lot of fuck ups, right? There's not a lot of continuity fuck ups or anything like that. But some of the original props from Frankenstein, the movie, are in that.
Really?
Wow.
Yes. They use those props forever.
No,
One
of
the
course.
last-
I mean,
one-
that's pretty recyclable, especially recyclable.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, like the Jacob's Ladder and shit like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But some of the big stuff that they had behind it and everything like that. That stuff had been used up until what was Mel Brooks' Frankenstein movie.
Young Frankenstein?
Yep, they used props from the original Frankenstein in that movie too.
I knew that, actually.
Yeah, they've been in a lot of stuff, and
Yeah.
that was crazy that they had that in the backlot for everything. I mean, it's just kind of crazy.
It's just like one of those nuances that you wouldn't know unless you were a fan of the, you know.
Yeah.
And if you look, and I can't think of an example off the top of my head, But there's many movies where, like, if you pay attention, they're in the same house.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Same
yeah,
backlot, things like that. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, like the same exact layout of the house.
right.
Everything is the exact same, and you're like, oh, yeah.
That was
I
insane.
never noticed.
Yeah. If you don't notice it, I mean, if
Now
you're,
you
you're not
noticed.
looking for it, but if you watch it multiple
Because
times,
if you don't
see
notice,
stuff, yeah.
now you notice.
Right.
There's so many
You're
good
welcome.
things. Just in all of that stuff too. Because like the mental hospital that he was at, why was there no beds that were actually being lived in? He was the only one that was in that one part of it.
Yeah, like they just like left him by himself in this giant room.
Yeah, they don't explain that shit, which they could. You know,
Right.
that's another one of those big giant backstories that they could have.
Absolutely.
On that, because he got inhabited by one of the electroids whenever he went through the first time.
John Warfin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he pulls his helmet off and his hair's all fucked up. And he's just running. He's like,
Dude, let me say, the worst choreographed action scene ever is when he smashes those two dudes together. It is the most awkward thing I've ever seen in
I'm
my
pretty
life.
sure their heads didn't even actually
No,
hit.
no, they like touched each other's shoulders and fell over.
and he runs in a limp.
Like Igor. I think maybe that led to the Russian piece, too. I was like, oh, yeah.
I am beautiful.
Where does he go? He just gets locked up after that.
Oh.
So, and that's 30 years like before too, because they were doing those tests in whenever they do that one that you saw with Jamie Lee Curtis, right?
Right,
That
right.
was in the 50s.
Right.
So when was he doing the first test?
38.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
So think about
I think
that.
it was 38 or 37. Yeah.
And it was 84, so that was fucking forever later, and he still didn't look like a day older than anything.
And the Aikido guy or whatever was
Looked
there.
old as shit.
Yeah, he did. I'm like, that guy's just fine. Of course, he was inhabited by an alien. So,
Yeah, yeah.
Or a
Yeah.
dimensioner, whatever you might call that.
Yeah. One of the electroids from the 8th dimension.
Yes.
There's just there's just so many parts in that movie that were so good. The last, probably whenever they're going through there, and I pick up something new every time when they're going through their layer at Yo-Yo Dine, right?
Right.
What a weird name. Like, I don't know if that has another meaning or if I'm missing something entirely, but
No.
it was like the yo-yo.
Think about this, though. If they came down, October 31st during the Orson Welles broadcast, right?
Which
So
was
that-
such a cool backstory that they used.
That's
that.
awesome,
Yeah.
right? And even the president was modeled after Orson Welles.
Yep, absolutely.
So they have that part of it, and it's like a cover-up. How did Yo-Yo Dime Propulsion Systems become a company back then
Yeah.
to carry on 50 years in the future? What the fuck were they doing? Were they
Hibernating?
building that ship?
So the whole story
make
that I
sense.
got from it was they were under the guise of building like stuff for the military.
And that's why that one military dude was like,
they
hey,
were
where's my
using-
ship?
But they were using all of that
The
to
face.
do their little dimension hopper.
But they
know?
can't. But they can't spell.
No.
It says do not open.
That was
secret.
great. Yeah. What was the? Oh no! And then there's another sign like saying you can't no coming in, and
Yeah.
it was like CUMMING. I was like,
Yeah, I
if they
remember
knew,
that. I was
yeah.
like, what the hell?
If they knew what that meant nowadays, yeah.
The one thing that I caught last night.
Beyond, yeah. And it was like,
Well, they were sitting. They were all kind of chilling before all the fire started. Like the one ran over and grabbed the one red handle and pulled the alarm and shit.
and the entire place
Because they're all sneaking around and shit, right? And all the electroids are eating Doritos and shit, right?
and his watch goes off,
Yeah.
which is something
And
that
he's
is
like,
very like timed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
he
what's
looks
it
at
called?
it. Jeff Goldblum looks like he's about to play hockey and shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And and he's like, "What is this place?" He's like, "It's a bivouac. They live here."
Yeah.
I'm like,
A bibbleware.
holy shit! Why did they pull that out of there? You can tell the writing was deep in this shit.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know? And they didn't sacrifice a lot of shit for it because not a lot of people know what a bivouac is.
I don't.
Right.
You know, it's a place where it's like a little bitty. I don't know.
It's a living quarters.
Oh.
For soldiers and shit like that.
Like
Oh,
when you're
like
in
a
the
barracks.
when you're in the field.
Okay.
When you come back to your like tent area, that's the bivouac.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
So it's like a tent
Right.
or like
Or it could be a building. Could
yeah,
be
anything like that. Yeah.
That's cool.
But then they had weird kitschy stuff like the fucking little deal that kind of went in a circle, looked like a
Didn't that make the projecting?
no. I'm talking about whenever they were at Yo-Yo Dine.
When they were in the bivouac.
Yeah,
Bivouac.
yeah, bivouac. Yeah, and he's like, they're all trying to be quiet as soon as they got in.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they show this really weird twirly thing looked like something out of Beetlejuice. It was
Well, it looked
weird.
like when they do that magnetic thing where they like put it into such a state of freezing that it'll actually like hover, you know?
Yeah.
But at the same time, like it was a creature. I thought for whatever reason that was what made the projector.
No,
I
I
don't
think
know
why. No,
I still
you're-
think, I think
yeah.
you're thinking of a different part.
You're thinking
Oh.
of the one that John Parker gave to the guys.
Right.
He's like, Buckaroo Banzai? He's like, no, Blue Blaze Irregular, Pinky Carruthers.
I don't think I put together that there was two of them.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well, no,
for
there was
sure.
there was
Okay.
a weird little. It was a little blurb kind of a deal when they first go into Yo-Yo Dine,
Okay.
and well, they kind of mix together because the president actually gets to see the whole, presentation and shit
Right.
like that about the same time.
Right.
Because
Pause real fast. President, why? Like, I feel like I missed something of why he's in that thing.
no,
No, they don't explain
Yeah.
They don't explain
No,
it?
They
He's
don't
just
explain
in that?
anything in the whole movie
Because
You
like
just-
he was in
you're
that the
there.
whole time, and I was like, I must have missed something.
It's
I
like he's got a
must
bad
have.
back or something like that,
But
so he's
that
not
whole-
resting. Yeah,
yeah.
So he's sitting on his front, not on his back at all.
Right.
I mean, just like the military deal with Yo-Yo Dine, you really have to be paying attention to pick some of that stuff up.
Any
You
of
know
it,
what
yeah.
I mean?
They
So
just-
I could see how this is a cult classic where you can infer a lot of things and pull more out of the story.
Well, just like the jet car too. The jet
Okay,
car.
full time out. Jet car. First of all, that's not a fucking car.
It's a
No.
jet.
a dually truck.
It
Yeah.
was.
A dually
It's a
truck.
Ford. It was a Ford F-150. Yeah.
Dually.
Yeah.
Covered in armor like it was built by...
Cardboard? Yeah.
I was going to say the A-Team from
Yeah.
1985.
Yeah.
Had a single
Same.
seat. Has a single seat, and then it has the oscillation overthruster. They
the flux
use
capacitor beside
because
it.
for real, there's the flux capacitor.
Yeah, I saw
was
it.
in
I
there.
saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
absolutely.
really was in there?
capacitor, yeah.
I was just joking.
No,
It's
shit.
totally
For
in
real.
there. Like that was like the first thing that caught
Yeah.
my attention. I was
Really?
like flux capacitor,
That's awesome.
and that can't have been too far.
No, they were about the same time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So
No,
same
it was
production team,
1984, and then didn't Back to the Future come out like the next year? Dude, the amount of time it took to build this world, you're immediately in it. The jet car on the back of it, the license plate says Rocket 88.
Yep.
You know what song they're playing whenever they're at the club? Rocket 88. That's one of the very first rock and roll songs too. I don't know, it's fucking crazy.
That is cool, though.
Yeah, they just mix this shit together.
yeah. You were
Another-
spot on too. That did come out a year later.
Yeah,
Nice.
See?
Yeah.
They use props from that stuff.
I
And-
almost read it wrong, and I thought it came out in 1955. But no, it was 1985.
55.
It's just they could have used Hagar song,
You know?
that one right there. But no, that's so cool. I
Yeah.
mean, that they mixed all of this stuff together, and I don't know, just the world building and the whole thing
Right.
was fucking so vast.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think if it had a different director, I'm going to be real honest with you. There were pieces where I was like,
Nope.
like okay, so let's talk about when he comes. First of all, no, let's back that up.
You're talking about coming and backing up.
Yes, yes, it's that kind of podcast, kids.
Yeah. Tell your parents.
We're going to have a good time.
Timmy time.
Anyways, so let's talk about when he blasts into the mountain first.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's 1984. Okay, so that's what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to argue with computer graphics from 1984 because I lived then.
Like the
I
ship.
get it.
Yeah.
However, when he comes out and breaks out the window and jumps out, and then the car stops 10 feet after him.
It keeps going.
Yeah.
Feels like he didn't press on the brake.
But even then, it's like he's like. Then they show him, and he's like 10 feet from the car.
Yeah.
Like immediately. You
Like,
mean.
why
Yeah.
the hell did you have to jump out the window?
Yeah.
He was done.
I will say,
His helmet splits in the middle and shit.
I will say this: the music was pretty good because it got me. It got me the pop jump. You know, like when he went to go get the thing, and all of a sudden the sharp, music hit, and he pulls the organ, and all.
Yeah.
Of course, there's no problem. But just the music, I was like, oh.
Hey, what is that
Oh.
thing? Yeah. How did that only get attached whenever he was driving in front of electrodes that were like in the fetal position?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So let's go
That
back to
didn't
that.
stick on the windshield and shit?
Because when Lizardo goes in, he goes in halfway.
Yeah. Well, it's just his head.
Yeah. Oh, is it just his head?
I'm pretty sure it's just like
Oh, I thought it was like his upper torso.
it was kind of like almost like that.
Yeah,
I mean,
whatever.
yeah.
But there's like 3 or 4 dudes like trying to get his face and shit. And this dude goes through, and we see like a baby
You
Electroid or
you see
something,
the one
and
electrode
then-
that's literally like curling up. You're
Yeah.
like, what the fuck?
So he sees 2 right? Like,
and then that little booger.
and the booger, and he traveled through
A
this
mountain.
place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So how
1 trillion times smaller than the...
Yeah.
So were they like just waiting for John Lithgow's character to come in? They're like, "We're gonna get you, motherfucker!"
No,
Well,
not
the-
this guy. Oh, that guy.
The
Got
laser,
a rocket car.
yeah, the laser was steady in the first one. The laser was straight. In this one,
Oh, right.
when they show the laser, it's like
Oh,
this.
that's right. He's
It's like moving back and
around.
forth.
Continuity.
All right.
Maybe.
No, we'll take it. Whatever. Lizard.
And then he
guys.
comes out. I don't even. Well, how can you go in a straight line? There's no floor. You know what I mean? I mean,
Right,
where's your
no.
propulsion?
Well,
Where
and
is
he was
everything
just-
coming from?
I think you're just going off the momentum that you came in with.
Right.
You know what I mean?
He
And
could have ended up under the ground,
Right.
but yet he was on top of it through a mountain.
More than likely, that's how it would work in real science.
yeah, like 50 miles away. You know, he would have.
He was
ended up in
100
China.
miles away, wasn't he?
Yeah, it was something crazy,
Yeah.
like 100 miles off target.
Yeah.
But also, he's doing like 500 miles an hour, and he
No,
makes a
no.
sharp left.
Yeah. 500 miles an hour, makes a sharp left, and then he breaks the sound barrier.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he doesn't like flip or
In
do
a
anything.
F-150 dually.
Yeah,
Dude, trust
the
me.
wheels don't destroy, nothing like that.
Those
Yeah,
are
no.
badass wheels. They've been working on those for a while. That's part of the backstory. You didn't get that.
See, the license plate doesn't fall off, say out of time and shit like that. You know what I mean? The Rocket 88's not spinning 88 times.
I got some pretty cool wheels in my car. I'm Batman.
They're just that first part. Whenever you watch the very first home video, the chatter, whenever they're talking, you notice how like the doctors are eating like fucking ramen noodles and shit
Right,
while they're
right.
watching him fucking make shit.
Right.
Whenever you first watched that movie on VHS and the first time I saw it on TV, I couldn't understand what they were fucking saying. But they were literally getting in there and talking about real shit that's happening in that dude's brain. Right?
Yeah.
And then whenever they came out with the newer release, then they cleared it all up.
Oh, okay.
So you could actually hear it. So it kind of loses a little bit of that. Just like whenever they're talking about the jet car taking off and they're in that weird fucking bunker out in
Yeah.
the middle of nowhere. You know what I mean?
They're bivouac.
Yeah. And it's just, I don't know, it's just kind of fucking strange because you couldn't hear anything and you couldn't really tell what was going on until like right after that. And Clancy Brown's like, I don't know, he's like 100 miles away that fast. He's sitting at the other end. He's like, and 5, 4, 3. And he's like, pew, goes past him.
That's a
you
pretty
know?
good noise.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's
I
pretty
heard
good.
the at the end. I was like,
He's been working on that one.
yeah.
Pew, pew, pew.
Oh boy.
Well, then the Ellen Barkin's character, too. Think
Yeah.
about that. Because he was in love with a woman that looked exactly like her twin, right?
Which one's this one
Her
again?
twinner.
The
The
love
girl that-
interest.
Yeah, the love interest from the movie. Yes.
I
Right.
missed something. I had
You
to.
didn't-
have-
you
No,
miss
you did
anything.
not. You did not.
That's another thing with
You
this.
just had
She's
to
a prostitute or something?
No.
Okay.
She was just down on her luck.
Yep.
I guess.
And you had to infer a lot of what was going on, anyways.
She had enough money to buy a gun,
Yep.
but not a place
To
to,
off
stay.
herself.
Yeah, she was staying at the YMCA, and they kicked her out, so she couldn't even hawk her luggage. She had a little bit of the old VAT 19, you know, and then she has a gun
She
with
loved
a
the VAT
tag.
19.
She has a gun with a tag on it, and you know she's about to kill herself, but somebody bumps into her, and she moves her hand like, whoa.
Hey, be
Watch
careful!
out.
I have a gun.
Yeah, I have a gun here.
So
You don't want
they
things to go
then
off.
they think that she was trying to assassinate Banzai.
Yeah, well, that's kind of weird because he's like, because right in the middle of this really rocking song, he's like, whoa, time out. Somebody not having a good time out there?
You
What?
baby. You.
And nobody's doing nothing. And then it shows her, and she's crying. You know?
Hysterically.
But then
Yeah.
but then he
Like an
figured.
idiot.
But then he's like, yeah. And then he's
I
in
would
the
not have been
jail.
attracted to that woman.
No.
Well, she looked exactly the
I
same as his
understand.
other girlfriend.
I kind of wonder if
Yeah.
that's where Stone Temple Pilots got the name for Pretty Penny.
I don't know, maybe. Very well could have right there.
You'd be best friends with Stone Temple Pilots.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Because I mean, literally, that's a weird part too. That's
Yeah.
something weird. Even whenever they go to Banzai's house, and she walks through the front door, and they're like, "Oh my god!" They're like, "Well, we'll explain that later." They don't.
No, not at all. Not at all.
This like the whole world, like the Blue Blaze Irregulars. You want to say it like Blue Blazer regulars.
It's almost
but
a tongue twister.
It's completely different than I thought it was Blue Blazer irregular or Blue Blazer irregulars.
Say that 10 times
instead
fast.
of Blue Blaze irregulars,
Yeah.
which is like
Wait, that's what it actually
that's
is?
what it actually is.
Oh.
Yeah, completely
Yep.
different, right?
I thought it was the Blue Blazer regulars
Right.
as well.
But
Yep,
yeah.
me too.
But what's really cool about that is in that world, they're everywhere, and he can call on anybody
like
on a
the little
ham fucking
boy.
radio, and be like, "Oh, I'm ready, Scooter Lindsay, ready to go."
Can we talk about the kid with the gun?
Yeah, that's him.
Wait,
Scooter.
before we get to the kid with the gun, because I do want to go over that.
Yes.
Back to your scene, like when she pulls out the gun,
He's
misfires.
got a gun.
Yes.
I do. Sorry.
So my favorite thing out of that is the drummer pulls out an Uzi. I was like, what?
Yeah, where did he have
got
that
an
fucking
Uzi.
shit at?
I know, right?
Everybody was packing heat.
Everybody
They were
was
just like,
packing.
"Whoa, watch out, guys!" And
We're
they-
Garden Banzai.
And like right before that too, right before they go on stage, right? And the guy's like, if you play in New Jersey, you play in my joint, you play some music. And that fucking Pepe dude, right? The Mexican guy pulls out some glitter and he's like, if you want a show, here's a show, and he fucking throws some fucking glitter out. Where
That
the
was
fuck did that come
amazing.
from, dude? And that's the thing. They were a New Jersey band, so they were like the E Street band,
Right.
Mixed with fucking a samurai, mixed with all of this shit. They grabbed everything that was cool of the '80s and put it all together into one thing, and that was Buckaroo Banzai.
That's right.
And they fucking kick ass when they were playing music too. And it's just so weird that she just shows up right there, and then they're right in the heat of the battle. They're ready to go, and then they're on that fucking badass tour bus.
Yeah.
This seems bigger than it really is, but it isn't.
I will say that whole scene with the music right there, like that whole the cinematography part of it.
That was the best part. Yeah. That cinematographer that did the he quit shortly after he did those scenes right there.
Oh, really?
So they changed
That makes
cinematographers middle of the movie.
That makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense.
The
it really
original
does.
dude that did that was he was one of the best cinematographers out there at that time.
It really had that good old school
vibe, man.
Yeah, that vibe of
Oh,
that
man.
80s futuristic.
The
you know,
color,
yeah.
the color, the darkness of it, but with
the
the
shadows and
backdrop and everything.
everything,
Like, oh man, it
I
was
think you
fucking
were
awesome.
all enchanted by the 80s bop that was going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the people just dancing
For no reason.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
even music yet. All right.
Well, before they come out of the elevator, Peter Weller's just standing there. He's got this fucking smile on his face, man, because it's like somebody told a fucking badass joke, and they're like, "All right, let's go." Perfect Tommy runs off, and he's like smiling, and he spins a couple of times before he gets up to the deal. Puts on his Stratocaster, and he's like, "Pew!" Fucking kills the solo,
Yeah, of course, he's
and then he
Buckaroo
pulls
Banzai.
out the trumpet and fucking kills that solo, and then he's like, "Whoa." Somebody's not having a good time. It's like
And that's where we get the line delivered from earlier, right?
Yeah, he's like, hey, everybody, be cool, be nice. He tells everybody to be nice, and everybody's like, all right.
I guess
Hey,
we're going to be
Buckaroo Banzai
nice.
says nice.
If Buckaroo says to be nice, I'm gonna be
I'm gonna
nice.
be
He
nice.
seems very respected by all.
Yeah. And you would think that somebody that big at that time, all of these things would have more people at his show.
And definitely
And not playing at that nightclub. Let's be real.
Yeah, it
and
looked
at
like
least
a dump.
3 women coming out saying that they were molested by him at a young age.
There was whenever it stops at that point, it takes on a whole new tone of the movie afterwards because it's
I
all
agree
fun
with
up into that point, and then it gets serious. And then pretty soon they're at a Harley convention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
So he was doing his press conference.
Yeah. Why, did they just pick some place to go?
Apparently, they did it at the Holiday Inn. I but they even mentioned that there's a bike convention.
Yeah,
you
there's
know.
a Harley convention coming
Yeah.
through here. We need to get this over with.
Yeah,
And
of course, that's perfect because Banzai's going to need a Harley.
Yeah. Yeah, whenever he jumps on the Harley, the dude's like, hey, you can't do that.
Dude.
Well, wait a minute, you're Buckaroo Banzai.
As he's driving,
yeah.
he's already
Buckaroo
gone.
Banzai. Yeah.
Yeah. He's fucking gone. Well, I mean, he got shocked with the formula.
Right.
And he's like, pin! Give me a pin! And he writes the fucking shit on his hand, and he's like,
cerebral palsy.
and he runs out there and he fucking sees electroids, and he's like, see him right there!
And those dudes, I'll tell you, his crew flies into action.
Yeah,
dude.
they do,
They are
man.
quick.
Yeah.
They're like, we don't care. We just believe him.
Yeah, whatever he says, let's fucking do that.
Like if he
Fuck
had an
up,
ex-girlfriend that he was upset at, he'd be like, yeah.
Oh shit!
Because he runs around the corner like a madman.
Oh yeah.
He stops. He's just like, damn.
And he looks crazy when he says it. So like, if like one of you guys ran around the corner and like, "Brrr," I'd be like, what the fuck's wrong with this?
Explain yourself.
Are you fucking high?
Well, yes, but there's still a bear.
There's aliens over there. Yeah, and like Ellen Barkin has to talk throughout the deal. She's like, oh, I get it. It's like this. And there's like, what?
Yeah.
I think she's a scientist of some kind too.
Yeah, like repressed somehow, right? Yeah, that's kind of what I gathered too, because she caught on to what was going on pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, but going back to when he stole the Harley, right? That whole chase scene through that building. If you look at how they edited this, they were out of that building like 4 or 5 turns before Buckaroo Banzai. How did he know that they went that way?
Yeah, he's like,
know? He just goes straight out to the road.
I smell them.
Yeah, he goes straight out
All
to the
that
road.
samurai training.
And I'm pretty positive when he went out on that road, like that little underpass thing, he didn't even look to his right. He just immediately ran that way.
But did you notice in that whenever they're driving on the yo-yo dime van and everything, that one dude's drinking battery acid?
Yeah, no, I didn't.
He's got a fucking straw inside one of those big giant batteries.
I didn't realize it was a battery, I think.
He's drinking a battery.
Oh my gosh. Oh man.
That's before, because they do the U-turn and they try to run him
Electroid?
over. Yeah, and they literally like try to run him off the road. Then they go with those hunters. Now there's another character in this too that was a very, very small part, but he was part of a big movie too. 2 big movies, or maybe 3.
Oh, it's too big.
Beverly Hills Cop 1, 2, and 3.
Axel Foley?
No.
Like,
What is this dude's? His last name is Ashton, and he was actually here at the Comic-Con. He was McTaggart.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was the cop in that, you know.
Right.
Yeah, after they go out there and pick on the thermal pod, like whenever they shoot the thermal pod down, and then they go find it. And then it's stuck in a tree. And that fucking thing is as big as a tree.
I know.
and what do
right?
you do when you can't see something that's in a tree? Shoot it.
No, you poke it with a stick.
Yeah.
What's that? It's a stick.
He's like, don't touch it.
Don't touch it.
And he touches it and it falls down. And he's like, throw me my gun. And the other dude just throws it and it lands in the mud. And he's
They
like,
don't even show it land either.
Yeah.
That was the best part. It was just like you just hear the. It was like,
he
oh,
just looks over. He's like, he's on my gun's jammed.
yeah. But that part kind of was like one of those. It reminded me the exact same as the road or the bridge where it was like, and then you see the front and it's like obviously going like 5 miles an hour, and he's like,
yeah. Because where did that electrode come from?
well, no,
right?
yeah, right. But what the attachment here though is like when that thing drops and starts rolling towards them, they're like, I can't get out of the way.
Yeah. Well, he gets in the mud. And then he gets stuck in the mud. And
But that was like after they had plenty of time to just go, hey, if I take 2 steps to the right, I'm safe.
Yeah, I just need to go
Yeah.
the other opposite
Well,
way.
And then the
Let's-
death vagina at the top of it. I was like, what the heck, man?
Well, let's be realistic that the people that were running from this were not the brightest folks.
No.
They were pretty
Hey,
dumb.
Cletus.
Yeah. They had the yokels out there doing
Yeah.
that stuff.
We love you,
sure.
the South. I'm just kidding.
No,
He loves you, the South. No.
Yeah, right.
Just kidding. Just kidding. We all love you.
Well, then
Yes.
they had the running joke the whole time that every time he touched
Hit
somebody,
subscribe.
it would shock him.
Yeah.
Even whenever he
To
gets,
life, I guess, too.
Well, how could you read that formula too? Because he's like he licks his
mirror.
hand real quick.
That was it would
and
never
he sticks it
happen.
on there.
Yeah.
We had to have a mirror. I thought of that like right away. I'm like, he's going to need a mirror.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or he
that,
does the
for
exact
that.
opposite
Yeah.
and causes the world to end. You know?
That ran through my mind.
know,
Oh my
right?
God, you're with me.
For that right there. But it was so smeared.
I know.
Come on,
no,
kid.
I agree.
There's
Yeah.
no way,
Yeah.
especially even just licking
Yeah.
it would smear it. So you're
Yeah.
like, what the heck?
Yeah, unless he wrote it really in long form on his arm.
As weird as
might
this
work.
is, I happen to notice the just like how perfect it was when he hit that forehead. It wasn't like a.
Yeah.
It was just solid. It was just. And then he's like done.
They did that take 84
Yeah.
times.
You know it, like seriously or something.
It's got to be just right.
It was like one of those things that you know is not like an actual big deal, but you just happen to notice, and you're like, "Huh, that was oddly like satisfying, like a good old like pop." Oh, sorry,
Well, Christopher Lloyd's character in the whole movie was fucking funny too.
Mr.
he was just the
Big-
rebel.
Big
Yeah.
bootay.
So odd. He's a big bootay. And everything that I read about it too, and everything that I've seen, they always talk about how funny he was in that movie.
Oh, I'm sure.
All of his lines. Like, there's one scene where you can actually see John Lithgow starting to laugh. Because when he flips him off whenever they're about to take off at the very end, and he's like, buckle in or something, and he looks at him and he flips him off.
You're right.
Really fucking bad. And you can just see him
Like
just
hardcore flips him
Yeah,
off.
man.
Like vengeance.
Yeah.
Vengeance.
Like
I
Christopher
that.
Lloyd just took that shit on and fucking rolled with it. Just whenever they got to that thermal pod, and he's like, "Well, we'll start to break it down." And he's like, "You're not going to touch shit. Don't touch anything." And then he starts hitting it with the stick too. He just starts hitting, and that one dude's just sitting in there.
Well,
Yeah, then that thing.
could you imagine making a movie with Christopher Lloyd and John Lithgow?
God,
That would be amazing. But
It would be
yeah.
so much fun. You would
Yeah.
want to go to work
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah.
You'd be like, "Oh, I'm here early. God, I'm
gonna
just gonna
laugh."
hang outside."
just whenever they're doing the interrogations and everything too. God, he's so deadpan at one point, but then whenever they're doing the Buckaroo shit where he's got the shit on his balls, he's got his arms up and everything like that, and they're shocking him. He's like, "Ah, you'll never get anything out of me."
Yeah. I'm not worth it, Buck. Go ahead and let him kill me. Can we talk about the most anticlimactic way to like solve a solution for her bug problem? Like the bug growing down that like
The slowest moving bug ever.
And on top of that, it's just like one guy's like, "Oh man, I got choked out a little bit. They probably should have checked if I was dead, but I'm here." And then all of a sudden, Buckaroo comes up and he's like, "All right, so let's go on."
He just grabs it,
Takes it and
throws
tosses
it.
it.
Like it
aside.
wasn't like anticipated. It wasn't like on edge. It was just like it wasn't even like it was like halfway through, and they're like, "Oh, we're already here, so we can just save you now." Here,
And then you hear it go squeaky.
I didn't even hear that. Oh shoot!
That's
Like, what the fuck?
See, I would so want to redo this movie, or not redo it, maybe do a extended, and that's still out there somewhere. Mm-hmm. That organism, right?
Yeah,
That bug,
it
Yeah.
can grow.
that weird organism that he got.
That could
Oh,
be a
some of those
sequel.
electrodes, because you know when they're whenever he's talking above everybody at the deal, Wharfing,
Yeah.
he's like, "When are we gonna go? Real soon." Where we going? Planet 9. Where we leaving? Real soon. They're all again eating Doritos, fucking drinking on Pepsis and shit like that,
So-
sitting in the middle of nothing.
Are we at the point of talking about Star Trek tie-ins yet?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Now I found this one out the other day. One of the ships, one of the Enterprises, was actually built from Yo-Yo Dime propulsion systems. Yeah, it's on one of the plaques
No
in
way.
I think Next Generation.
What?
That's really
Yeah.
cool. That's
Yeah.
really really cool.
Yeah, there's two of them, and I forgot what the other one was, but I don't know if it was the Excelsior or something like that. But there was something that ties the Star Trek world into that.
What?
Yeah, no shit.
No
Yo-Yo Dime
idea.
propulsion actually helped build the ships. So
I would never have caught on to that.
So maybe that's
You asked me to find the Star Trek like tie into that. How am I supposed to do that? I'd have to watch the Next Generation.
wait,
yeah,
like,
the
look-
whole series. And you're
Okay.
like, Yo-Yo Dime.
having this knowledge,
Yeah.
which I did not have before. How does that happen? Because at the end of this, the
still
ship they've put all the money into is gone.
Yeah. There's still
Yeah,
people there.
There's something I have to say about that too.
There might have been some electrodes that stayed.
Oh,
See?
so you think it was the electroids that built the
They could
propulsion
have.
system
They
for?
could, yeah. After
Enterprise?
they got the
Interesting.
formula for clear aluminum, right?
Right.
He's like, clear aluminum. He's like, computer, and he shows him the shit. And he's like, how did you know he didn't invent it?
That's true.
Maybe they got together and created the fucking starships.
Can we talk about the biggest asshole like douchebag electroid, the Jamaican guy at the end? He's like, you know what? This ship is capable of so much more than just landing for 2 seconds, landing you off. But you're going to parachute down.
Yeah.
I don't have time.
Yeah,
you know?
he's like, "Woo."
They just wanted a reason for him to
Have a
parachute
parachute.
down.
And
Which
that
was
looks
so
cool
fucking
as that.
Yeah. It looks cool, dude.
But did you
He's just like gives him a salute.
Yeah.
They're just being economical with their time. They've got shit to
Yeah,
do.
yeah, exactly.
Both of them.
Right.
I mean, Banzai's good. He might have a show
But
tonight.
you just saw the ship go like this, like woof, woof, like that. You could have went, get off, and you're gone.
yeah, Buckaroo was probably like, "Hey, you got a parachute?"
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
Yeah.
now I'll just do this.
Yeah. Do you think that they really packed a parachute in that motherfucker?
No, they didn't. But at the same time, one of the things that I noticed with the green screen, did you see the split of the green screen? Yeah, I noticed that, and I was
could
like,
see
that was bad.
Yeah, you could see the obvious.
And you can just
flaws
tell
at
that
the end
he
of
is
it.
like just sitting there. There's like a bar that has two things, and he's just like in front of the camera. Like that
Where
would
does
be
he
awesome.
land?
It was like Batman 1966 parachuting.
Yeah, it was.
It's like, where did
Running
he
with the
land?
bomb.
Where was he gonna land at too?
Yeah, right?
Do we know if he was in Wyoming or not?
It doesn't matter.
You know what
I
I
mean,
mean?
he's Buckaroo Banzai. He's going to get where he needs to be.
Yeah, he'll just call one of the Blue Blazer regulars.
If you just go at an angle. No, I'm just
Well,
kidding.
did you notice the kid's father was a furniture salesman?
Yeah,
No, I
right?
didn't.
Right?
That owned a fucking helicopter.
Yeah. The helicopter was silent in the first scene, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden actually had sound later. I was
Well,
like,
the
wait.
helicopter shows up out of nowhere when he's getting chased, right?
Yeah,
and he
but,
runs
like-
into the fucking deal, and it picks him up. He's just like,
It like smacks him in the face.
Yeah,
he's
he's
like
like,
running like, oh, hey, ladder. Cool.
it's like Blue Blazer regular. And they're there, and it's like, come on, Buckaroo.
Oh, Tropic Thunder, the little kid from Tropic Thunder. That's like,
Oh
You
yeah,
know that?
badass.
I say they're like somehow related. The kid in this one and that one, or the same person.
That kid packs a gun though, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't
No.
get. They didn't give him a small one.
No,
It was a Mini
full
14.
rifle.
Yeah, I know.
It was a fucking Mini 14, and the dude's like, "I'll give you $20." He's like,
No. Like he did so he did the shooting thing where he's like, "All right, you can have it," and then he's sitting there later, like after everything, and he's like, "Yeah," and he's like giving him like he's like, "Oh man, I'll give you $20, man," and all this kind of stuff, and the kid doesn't even have the gun facing him. He doesn't have his hands on it, pretty much, and he's just sitting there. I was like, why doesn't the parent or the adult just go? Snatch! Now I have the gun.
Yeah.
Get out! You know.
and he was a defense contractor.
Yeah, right.
Well, you know,
that doesn't necessarily mean.
well, the
anything.
funny part
Those are
about
usually bureaucrats.
Yeah, right. The funny part about the military people is whenever they're sitting there, they're going to DEFCON 2. Yakov Smirnov is in that part too.
Oh, really? I didn't notice
That's
that.
that's the Russian dude that's with him.
Really?
And the president
Yeah,
and shit
yeah.
like that. And then that one military general is like, oh, we need to strike first or blah blah blah, right? And he's if it's Buckaroo Banzai, and then the female senator comes in.
yeah.
But then he says, I'm having trouble holding my fudge right now. And she actually was like, you need to fucking become a man, you son of a bitch. You know what I mean? Just like almost borderline slaps him.
Like
He's
emotionally slaps him.
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like
She
ego.
emotionally bitch slaps.
Yeah,
him. That's pretty
seriously.
And
hardcore.
it's fucking crazy. And he's just like, he's eating an apple.
He's trying to talk about his feelings.
Yeah,
And she's like, fuck you.
yeah.
Man
Like,
up,
he's
bitch.
like, man up, bitch. This shit's going to end, and even if you don't want it to end.
I talked about my feelings once.
What's funny is they were going to fire a weird weapon on Minsk, right? From orbit.
Right,
What was it?
right.
Oh,
the
to
Electroids were,
destroy
right?
him. Yeah.
Well, to start, basically World War
Nuclear
III,
war,
right.
right?
You
Why
get that
couldn't
little
they
paper.
fucking shoot fucking yo-yo down propulsion systems?
right.
And be
Just target
done?
them.
Yeah.
Boom.
Maybe with a smaller missile.
Yeah.
Why not?
Did anybody else find it hilarious? The little piece of paper that was like the quick war piece of
Yeah,
paper.
yeah.
It was
Yeah.
like
the short form.
Yeah, the short form. I was like, that's
Declaration
cool, I
of
guess.
War. The
I mean,
short
back
form.
in the day, do you have to wait for them to receive it before you could attack them?
I don't think so.
Just the comedy.
It
and,
was.
and then just the sheer scope of everything.
Well, he's a top scientist.
Yeah.
So was Mr. Wizard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That line. I was like, hell yeah.
So is Mr. Wizard.
that actually.
But
had
what was the honey too? Why was he?
Yeah,
'cause
the honey on the
they're-
shoulder,
they're
the
putting
bear.
honey- and he has a little bitty Sucrets box full of fucking ants and shit.
Oh,
He's like,
that's what it was.
it is like little ants with honey, and then he's like, use more honey.
Then
When
later,
they take him away,
see, even you sounded Russian doing that.
use more honey.
Yes.
But
Maybe
like,
it's not Hungarian.
oh,
Could
Maybe.
be Hungarian.
But I think it was Italian though. I think that's.
I'm
was
not
trying
buying
to-
it, Brock.
he was
I'm not
trying
buying it. I want proof.
in his brain, he was trying Italian, but it came out Russian. It was like, at the same time, if that was ants, did you see the welts on her arm at the end? Like
That's
those were
probably from-
massive for
yes.
ants.
Well,
Like,
they were
from-
probably from Planet 9.
They were
yeah,
fire.
that would make sense. Never mind. Even fire ants, man, not that big of a.
Well, yeah.
Depends on if
all-
she's allergic.
Yeah.
Well, when they're
No, that's
taking
why
her,
she died. No, I was kidding. We did it.
when they're
Spoiler
taking-
alert!
when they're-
Spoilers!
when they're taking her down that ramp in that water, and he's like, "I'm done with you, Penny," and she's like, "Ah." fucking so over the top screaming and everything. It's so
there was
funny.
a lot of overacting in this movie.
so much.
She was the one that overacted the most.
Oh,
I
she
would
was
say
just-
her and John Lithgow.
Yeah.
which is fine.
Yeah.
Like I said, John Lithgow could
He
do
was
that
my
because
favorite
what he
character.
was doing.
Yeah.
It was perfect.
It was
think-
perfect for it.
yeah,
It just worked. I don't know how, but it did.
I think I've read somewhere
Took me
where
a few
John
seconds.
Lithgow, when people talk to him about movies, this is one of his favorite ones that he ever
Oh,
did.
I'm sure, dude.
And he like always is like, "Oh, have you ever seen Buckaroo Banzai?" And they're like, "No." And he's like, "Oh my god."
You have to see this.
And just whenever he gets through telling them about it, he's like, "I'm so excited when I talk to people about it because I describe it, and then everybody wants to see it."
Well, of course.
Yeah, because it sounds so fucking cool. I would actually like to see Buckaroo like get into a sword fight. Why the fuck not?
Yeah. Well, he wastes a lot of his samurai training.
All he does is pray a couple of times. You
Yeah.
know, he does the samurai deal where he puts his deal up, and he's got swords everywhere, but he uses his gun more than anything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
his 6 gun.
and yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
yeah, pretty much.
Speaking of guns and shooting and shit, I think it was one of the first people to be shot from Buckaroo Banzai. It was in that little like that driveway that goes to a basement, kind of like of a building. I forget what you call that, like a whatever. But it goes down, and then there's water at the bottom.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, where they were.
Yeah. Now the guy that stumbles down after getting shot. Did anybody else notice anything weird about that?
He kept
He
going.
kept rolling. Like at first he went down to the bottom. I was like, okay, he's gonna stop. Nope. Okay.
See, Buckaroo doesn't kill him. It was Perfect Tommy that did. And he's like,
right.
thanks for having my back. And the dude's just like,
That's right, with the shotgun.
and he just fucking rolls.
But like when you get to the bottom, you're like, okay, if he's dead, he's gonna nope. Oh no. Okay, there's another.
He keeps splashing around.
yeah,
Maybe
like
a little bit more.
He actually went right before the water, and I think the director said like hit the water.
Yeah, keep
and so
going.
he like went down, and then he's like, wait. Well, okay, now I feel water. Okay.
Well, you know, the scene that
I'm
I
glad
was-
you caught that. By
Yeah,
the way.
the scene that I was thinking about the other day too was whenever the dude's working on the jet car, right? And the guy's,
The F-150.
F-150 dually, yes.
the jet truck, and he's underneath it, and that fucking giant water bottle, the 5-gallon water bucket, actually falls down the ramp and hits the fucking tire. What if that missed?
Oh my god.
That dude was right there. That was 5 gallons worth of fucking water that was
Yeah.
coming at him at like 10 miles an hour.
It was big, yeah.
Yeah.
And even
Was
when
it
hit, I
5
thought it was-
gallons?
Yeah, it was a big.
It was one of
5-gallon
those big
bucket.
5, like the ones
And
that
it
you
hits
turn
and
over.
it's
I
like
thought it was
boom.
bigger than that. In,
Oh,
like
maybe
my
they are.
mind.
And that dude, that guy's
what you
been
tell
on a
yourself
lot of
about
stuff
your-
too. Well, then he spits at him. What does he spit on him? It's
Yeah.
like that spider shit.
Yeah.
He
Well,
fucking
it's like-
spit, it's like knocks him through the fucking wall.
Dude, you
almost.
see the back of his like coat, like you're like, what?
Yeah.
that was nutty.
Well, they don't even really get into the fight with Christopher Lloyd and Rawhide, John Big Booty and Rawhide. You know, they only show bits and pieces of it, and then he's
Right.
like, "Go after him!" and he jumps down the fucking deal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that
then
was.
and then how did the Electroid get through the fucking little bitty hole?
Yes, you see
Yeah.
his leg go
Yeah.
through, but you're like,
Yeah, how did he contort to get in there?
he's like a freaking
I don't think that
octopus.
we are experts on electroid physiology.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
That's the thing, though, because
Maybe
like,
they're very much like an amoeba on the inside.
It's like
Yeah, that would make sense.
It's like Christopher Lloyd literally put his leg all the way in there, and because it looks so natural that he's trying to get out of there.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then the one dude that was smoking the pipe when Penny Pretty comes around, and
He's just standing there,
he's
dude.
like, nice day for a walk, huh?
yeah, so creepy.
He's got that fucking bullet
that guy's
hole
been
in
in
it, too.
everything too.
Yeah.
They made him look like a different enough with the like kind of like the well,
He's got
When
the
he's,
long face. Yeah, he's
yeah.
got that long face.
but he's definitely a lot older now. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
But he's been in a lot of
Yeah.
shit, dude.
He's made his way.
Most of everybody, even the woman that was the one that was the head of his household or whatnot. Whenever they come in, you know. And,
Oh, okay, yeah.
his secretary or whatnot.
Right, the assistant lady.
Yeah.
Is that the one that's like a bitch to the other girl?
Yeah,
Yeah.
She's actually been in a lot of stuff too. All of them have been in.
She was
something.
only in that for like 2 seconds.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, but yeah, she's had a pretty productive career. I think everybody in there, if you look at all of them on IMDb, they do have a pretty fucking long list, which is pretty cool
Right.
for such a massive undertaking of a movie.
Do we know how much it cost to make this movie at that time?
I never saw that.
$2.
I know it had to have been probably
Millions.
I don't think they made their budget back on it.
I'm surely not. I mean, especially with the amount of actors they had, that would be the biggest thing I would think.
But it was more of a
maybe
labor
they were
of
like,
love.
"Hey, we have these actors. now let's make a movie.
Yeah.
We got all of this stuff. How are we going to do it?
If they did do that, that would be amazing. Because how much like you don't have those disconnects and all that,
Yeah.
you know? Because whoever wrote it, you know, it was like their passion project. Or
Oh
something.
my God, yeah.
Yeah.
To have that big of a world for you to step into it like that, with this movie you couldn't have done a 3-parter.
Right.
You had to fit it all into one,
Yep.
and then hope for the best, and that's what they did.
I think it's kind of interesting that they do that whole route of like, we're not going to really tell you. We're just going to have you watch it a couple times. And
That's
we'll
what's
put it
cool
together.
about it. That's another cool thing about it.
So in 1984, their budget was $17 million. Their box office winnings were $6.3 million.
Oh, yeah, they're not getting a sequel. It's like,
Labor of love. That is a labor of love.
yeah, man. Holy cow.
If you were to make this movie now,
You could build a world for it, and then at
Absolutely.
the very end of it,
And they would
it's
actually
like
come out with the comic.
it's like Dr. Claw. You know what I mean? You don't
Yes,
see
sir.
shit, but then all of a sudden
Next time,
they go
Gadget.
around and it's fucking Peter Weller is the bad guy.
Nice.
Why the fuck not? Right?
funny.
that would be badass.
I mean, that would be the shit. And it was just he's Hanoi Shan. He killed Buckaroo's parents, everything like that.
Right.
You know, because that's what that Jamie Lee Curtis deal is. The version you saw didn't have the first part of it. There's an extended version, has an extra like 5-minute little deal where they're in the first jet car. Actually, it looks like a jet engine.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a famous race car driver, and then also Buckaroo's dad, and then Jamie Lee Curtis is Buckaroo's mom. And they're actually, because they're in Texas, which is crazy too. They're in a salt flat in Texas.
Right.
Where the fuck is that in
There's-
Texas?
there's none.
There's not. Right? And they talk about the Texas School of Mines and everything like that. It's Rawhide, which is Mr. Krabs. He's the one that's doing the voiceover
Clancy
for
Brown.
it. Clancy Brown. He's doing all the shit for it, and then they show the thing blow up. But Hanoi Shan was the one that actually planted the bomb in there to destroy his parents.
Oh.
So then he's only like, it was his birthday, and he's only like 8 years old or some shit like that. He's celebrating his birthday
But
out
they
there.
still used Peter.
Yeah. I don't know who you would cast as Buckaroo Banzai nowadays.
That's what I was getting ready to say. Who would you cast?
I've thought about it, and I can't find anybody to do it.
That has that same type of vibe.
It's got to be cool.
Yeah,
gotta
like
be
that
cool.
cool cat.
Yeah,
You know.
got to be cool, but got to be smart. Peter Weller was an anomaly for his time. He never really got as big as he should have, but I think that was self-induced in a way.
Yeah.
I mean, he was going to do RoboCop 3, but he didn't like the script.
Well,
At least he has his
why not?
pride.
Yeah,
He
I was
was
going to
pretty
say
smart.
he was smart on that because that was a piece of shit.
Well, an actor that says no to a script of a sequel or something, you already kind of probably should have a heads up of.
I will say that RoboCop 3 has the best thumbs up in any movie ever. When one of the main characters is dying, like she's getting riddled by bullets or something like that. I think it's a she.
Yeah,
And she's like diving at the same time, and I think it's a she. It could be a guy. Throws up the thumbs up.
In the middle of it.
And fucking dies.
As she's getting shot.
And I was like, okay,
Yeah.
it was worth the movie. It was worth it for that. That's
There's
fucking-
not, in that movie, there's not that many memorable characters.
No, that movie was a piece of crap, dude.
I don't know who you would.
So to me, it's got to be somebody that's kind of his build
Yeah,
because he's very, he's not, he's a tall kind of a fella, lanky.
yeah.
He's in the middle. Like, not
Yeah.
like jacked, but he's definitely not scrawny. Or
Right.
5'11", 6 foot, somewhere around
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Maybe Thomas Jane.
Who's that?
Maybe Thomas Jane.
The Punisher.
Played the Punisher with the John Travolta movie.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He was in
Yeah.
the HBO show Hung,
Yeah.
which I never
Yeah,
watched.
yeah.
but
Actually, it was a really because of their freaking intro. They had, like, when a show like has a good intro, so you almost want to love it just because of that.
right.
Yeah, they had one of those.
I never watched it.
No, it was that song that's like boom, bam, boom.
I think I watched an episode of it.
that.
and I
didn't-
was like-
yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Well, see,
It wasn't something I needed to watch at all. It was like
No.
when I put it on, I was like, I watched the first episode as well, and I maybe got like 3 episodes in. That was over like weeks,
Right,
so
right.
it wasn't like something I was like, I have to watch this.
Well, he would be my, just right off the top of my head, first choice. I mean,
That one's actually not bad because he is that kind of like
He
not
can play the
jacked
cool,
but not
yeah.
crazy. He's cool cat,
Yeah. We haven't even really talked about my favorite part of the whole
Oh,
movie.
well, then let's get back to the movie. Why are we casting stuff from now? Jeez, guy, come on.
My favorite part of the whole fucking movie is the end. when they're walking in the dry river or the dry lake bed or the LA River lake bed. That is fucking so awesome. That scene, they play the music and he pops up and he's fucking got a rope, fucking walks down the shit, and they fucking all like join together and shit.
Oh. Yeah.
That scene has been imitated a couple of times in movies too.
I don't remember the rope.
Well,
it's when he comes down like initially.
Oh,
the very end when they do the walk,
the walking montage thing where they all get together. Yeah,
and they're showing the credits and shit like that. Whenever I saw Steve Zissou, you remember Steve Zissou at the very end when they're doing the same fucking thing, and they're all coming together, walking fucking in a straight fucking badass type of a deal. I'm like, that was fucking Buckaroo Banzai. Mark Mothersbaugh did the music for that shit too.
Oh, really?
And I could see where that's another influence. You know what I mean? It was like, holy crap, that's fucking so awesome. They're walking fucking proud. They originally they weren't walking to that song because the song wasn't made. They were walking to Uptown Girl by Billy Joel. Uptown Girl. Yeah, so imagine if they were playing that over the speakers.
Which was written for Christy Brinkley.
Yeah, see?
Just so you know. I don't know why I know that, but apparently I fucking do.
I would feel that Brock would know that,
Well,
but
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not
yeah.
surprised that you know that.
I'm a little surprised.
She was in was she in the video too?
What?
Was she in the video too?
I believe so.
Yeah. Yeah, they dated forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because she was an Uptown Girl.
That was
He was a Backstreet guy. Which is honestly the predecessor to the Backstreet Boys. That's how they got made.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, take Uptown Girl and Backstreet Guy, and you get them in sync with each other.
Oh, and they have some Backstreet Boys.
You might get a good Spears. No, I'm reaching too far at this point.
That's too much. But it could take you a full 98 degrees.
damn.
Tina Turner. What?
Hit her again, I can put some stank on it.
You just hear like a little spray bottle.
But I put this together the other night too when I was sitting there watching it. The the Hong Kong Cavaliers and the Blue Blaze Irregulars are basically G.I. Joe. Everyone in G.I. Joe is a specialist. Mm-hmm. They're all military, but everyone's a specialist in that shit.
You're absolutely right.
Think about that shit. Think about it's a fucking G.I. Joe, but cool.
Well, guess what was really popular in 1984?
G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe.
Nice.
Yeah. and they don't really talk about anybody having a military background in all of their stuff, but they use military tactics and everything. Yeah. They're all good at
communicators and logistics, and
they wear hockey pads.
They
don't wear hockey pads, but they're all wearing fucking I don't know paintball outfits. and shit.
Like before paintball. I don't remember anybody playing paintball in 1984.
Like Jeff Goldblum's arm thing. What is that?
No idea.
What sport do you use an arm fucking thing that looks like a goddamn
hockey? That's a goalie. It's a goalie.
It looked like a goalie piece, but his hand was exposed. But he has his gun.
And then
so
just walking around, he already has it in his mouth. Like,
but what's weird about Goldblum holding his gun too is like when they're running through Buckaroo's palace or whatnot. All the offices and shit. He's holding his gun upright, right? And then Home Dude's like, "Hey, you need to hold your gun down."
Yeah.
No. At me. Hold it right at me.
Yeah. But he's holding it up
because he doesn't look like
about it.
Yeah.
because it's probably the first time he ever held a gun.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's a neurosurgeon.
He's a cowboy. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, right.
Still, don't get that. But
well, what's funny is he's like, I know all you guys. I'm a big fan. Your name is so and so. He's like, nope. I know you. You're so and so. He's like, nope. He doesn't know shit. Even the outfits in this whole movie were spot on to the people. I mean, the flashback parts of it, it looked like they were in the 30s.
Yeah, absolutely.
Looked really fucking cool, even though they were mainly in lab coats and shit like that. But then whenever they're doing that in scene too, it's not Reno, but the Pepe guy, he's got two fucking belts.
Yeah,
he's got a red and a yellow belt. And he's like pulling up his pants too and shit. And even the fucking furniture salesman, he's the last one to walk past the Buckaroo Banzai deal that's painted on the wall and shit. And he's wearing a fucking bowler hat and a fucking coat with tails on it and shit like that, And then Pinky Carruthers, he's wearing? He's got his regular suit on and shit like that, right? But he's wearing fucking kung fu shoes with no soles on them.
I saw that.
And what's with the spinning?
Yeah,
Why do they spin? They're like walking, and then all of a sudden they do a spin, and they're like, "Yeah,"
because it's the 80s.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I mean, like
And that shows that white people had rhythm.
They had something.
Smart. Smart.
But see, with that, and that's what's cool about
Take your blue sea.
you see that you see the same kind of close-ups, and they stole everything in the end of Steve Zissou. They stole the whole fucking walk and everything like that. So fucking cool. But they're walking down a dock. It's fucking badass.
Yeah.
There's everybody took so much from this movie.
Well, there was a lot to take.
There was.
There's so much. That's what I was saying earlier. Is they did not waste a lot of scenes.
No.
They put so much into this movie, and almost made you infer character and background of said characters.
You'd have to if you want to know.
Yeah,
You had to figure it out.
yeah, because they weren't sure the fuck weren't going to tell you.
No,
It's like in Inception where they almost force you to watch it again. Or not maybe Inception, but Inception was that way.
This one, like I said earlier, I mean, I think you could have built 3 movies, 4 movies, 5 movies.
But it would have been a lot of filler.
It would have not been the same.
I
This
agree.
was
I
everything.
agree.
You jump right into it.
And it
There's
keeps
this
your attention.
fucking world
Yeah.
there that, I mean, you really literally have to be like, okay, who's the main guy? What's his name? Buckaroo? That's fucking weird. Why do all these dudes have G.I. Joe names? You know, this is fucking crazy. And then now they're fucking fighting space aliens? What the fuck, right? And then the president's fucking Orson Welles. This is one movie that, like, I could put on any time and watch it whenever I want to, right?
Kind of like me in Futurama. Like,
See.
I go to bed to it because I don't have to actually watch it to
Yeah.
understand what's going on.
Correct. I mean, I can pick it up, and I really want to watch it, though. That's the thing. I
That's
really
cool.
want to sit through the whole thing. Amy hates it.
I can imagine after 200 times.
She fucking hates it.
So the
If
first
I saw
time I
200
watched
times.
this movie, it was on a Sunday with my whole family. like they weren't watching it necessarily,
Yeah.
but like
it was there.
kitchen's there, you
Yeah.
know, and they're doing things, and they're like, what's he doing?
Is he okay? Do we need to...
What is that movie?
Should we take him to the doctor?
Yeah, like, oh, that's for his podcast. That's
Yeah, that's. I'm pretty sure that's how the conversation went. Oh, it's a podcast.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Dude,
No,
talk about starting early.
Yeah, I'll be sitting there, and I'm like, Buckaroo Banzai? No. Okay. 2 days later, hey, Buckaroo Banzai? No. I'm not watching that. It sucks.
Well, where were you flipping through channels and Buckaroo Banzai's?
Well,
on?
it's on my library.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
because
I'm
you were
just
like
going
flipping
through-
channels with your hand.
Yeah, I'm
and
just
I'm
going
like,
through my library.
Oh,
and every
Buckaroo
time
Banzai's on again.
every time I see it, I'm like, Buckaroo, damn it. Maybe I should watch that again.
I'm trying to think. Was it the Jamaican guy that did the part with the hands where he was like a crab almost? He was like,
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Something like
He's
that.
shaking and shit
Shaking
like
and
that.
everything.
I mean, his hands, and
He had
whenever
some
they
stuff
show
going on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess
When he was walking too, he would just be like, boop, boop. It's like it would take way
Yeah.
too long of
Well,
a step.
when he jumps over the fence. Oh my god, that was fucking awesome too.
Oh, dude.
You know, he leans down and his hands
like-
go up to his underarms and he's like, but they catch him.
Yeah, it almost made it seem to me like he didn't know he could jump over that fence until the other people
Actually,
did.
yeah.
Okay, cool.
Or he was just like, fuck, I'm an idiot. I could have just jumped over this.
I could have just made this.
Yeah.
I could
But
have been there
definitely-
before.
Yeah,
I definitely got that vibe, which was he looks and sees him, and he's kind of like, "Oh, well, okay, I didn't know I could do that. Go over here, bink."
he's hiding in the bushes.
Yeah.
He sees him jump over, and then he walks out and he fucking straightens his jacket up and shit, and kind of looks around like, I'm nonchalant. Looks around, fucking jumps over the goddamn thing. You're like, what the fuck?
But I think we were about to touch on something that is like a bother to me as well with that, which was that scene where 15 seconds before he jumped over, like there was 2 guys that just hopped over, and you're
Yeah.
like, but where were these 2 guys that came from like the side and like
Yeah.
come and like,
Yeah, they
hey,
just
you're
come out of
coming with
nowhere.
us? It's like,
Yeah.
but you happen to not notice 2 people 15 seconds ago.
Yeah, the 2 Dick Tracy dudes come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Well, see, here's how that works. Those 2 guys that jumped over probably set off some sort of alarm. So the guys come, but they find this
Him
dude.
instead.
Yeah, but he
That would
you
make
know,
logic.
I'm just trying to put some logic.
That helps me give it logic, which makes it better. So thank you.
You're welcome.
But wouldn't you think he would tell the other guys, "Hey, I was just following 2 other dudes that just jumped over
No,
the fence"?
because
They're
he's
like,
an
"Whatever."
idiot alien.
Yeah, he didn't know he could jump over the wall. I don't think he's gonna. Be
I just don't think he has the social portion.
Wait, actually, he said he's like economical or. He says his job title when they're in the. He's like, "Here, fly this thing," and he's like, "I'm a blah blah blah." He's like, "It's like a truck," and he goes, "Oh yeah, good."
Have you ever...
What's a truck?
Yeah, he's like, handles like a truck. He's like, what's a truck?
Well, at first he goes, "Oh, good."
Oh, it's the jet car. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Yeah, but but that part he goes like, "Oh, it drives like a truck." And he goes, "Oh, good. What's a truck?" And you're just like, he said the "oh, good" part.
Well, what's crazy too is the way that they fly that shit too.
That
Because
was
the seats
cool.
like rotate around.
That was a cool like different way to look at things.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Because it goes around and then he's shooting on one, like he figures out there's a gun in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, as soon as he figures out there's a gun in there, he's like, switch spots.
Yeah, he's like...
But the funniest part
They
is
flip.
he just goes like this and goes, "That must be a gun." Flip, and then flips it, and you're like, "Wait."
He's like, how did you learn that?
Yeah.
Because he's fucking Buckaroo
Banzai.
Banzai.
Yeah.
When they
He's a polymath.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Was that the
You
first
could learn anything.
Was that the first rendition of the whole like kind of my right, your left, because of the reversal and everything?
Yeah, because he was
He's
firing
like,
the gun
"Go
backwards.
left." And he's like, "I am going left." He's like, "No, my left, you're right." And you're just like,
And then like you said, whenever he's parachuting out,
Yeah.
he fucking does like a goddamn stunt. Or shit
Of course he
takes
does.
off. And like he's ready to go.
He knows
Like,
how to,
he
he
now
knows how
knows
to
how-
fly that motherfucker.
yeah. And a second ago, you're like, "What's the truck?"
What did it like to? You know when they're in the ship above in space too
Before they get
and-
detached.
Yeah, well, no, the ship in space at the very beginning, and they're walking upside down and shit. What are they making, casserole and shit?
Yeah,
You see
that's
the
what
one
it
dude
looked
has,
like.
a fucking casserole in a fucking Pyrex deal and shit. He's
I'm-
just like bringing some. Wow.
Well,
what the fuck
they
was
had to
that?
get the comic book. So they probably picked up some like hamburger helper and were like, "Well, this seems amazing."
They made a pie.
Let's try it.
Yeah, they made a crusted fucking shepherd's pie.
Yes.
They call it a pubajeh.
It's fucking weird.
No, that was weird.
And they're all Jamaican. All the
Yeah,
the
what's
good
up
guys
with
are
that?
Jamaican.
Which is fine.
What?
I'm okay
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah.
Just why
Wait,
are
what?
they all Jamaican?
Oh yeah. No. Like only the onnes that are the good ones.
Yeah, the good ones are all
Yeah.
Jamaican, which makes sense. I think they're trying to make a marijuana allegory there.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. They're the cool ones.
I gotta
Yeah,
watch that
right?
movie high now. That'll be a trip.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll be like, whoa.
I've owned only the video. Of course, I got the MP3s because I ripped them from something, or the MP4s.
He means that he made a copy of his VHS that he purchased. Because we're all law-abiding citizens
Yeah.
on this podcast.
Yeah, but I remember when I first found that VHS at the thrift store, I was like, "Oh my god, I gotta get this."
Well, I bet, dude.
Yeah.
You're like,
And then
Buckaroo Banzai.
I didn't buy the newer version of it that came out, and then now they have. Because I looked tonight, I actually stopped at Entertainment, and because I was looking for something, and I looked through all the sections. I was like, "Where's Buckaroo Banzai?" Nope, don't got it.
Really?
Nobody has that shit, dude. There's such a big cult following for it. I mean, one of these days, if I ever get some more tattoos, I'm probably gonna get a blue blazer regular, fucking the little double B.
Right.
Somewhere.
The thing that's on your papers.
Yeah. But I was drawing the other day.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I don't know. There's just, this movie is probably one of the coolest fucking movies that's ever existed. But yet, I would say that there's not a wasted scene in it. There's some dragon in it.
yeah, no. So I said there's no wasted scene in the first half.
Yeah. There's some dragon. Yeah, there's some dragon whenever they kind of get a little bit more into it.
Agreed.
And the penny part was cool, but she doesn't fit 100% in.
You could
in
have
the way.
taken her out of that movie, and
it
it
would've
was
been
just like she
fine.
has no purpose technically,
You
But
can't
that
make
builds-
a movie without a
girl.
romantic interest.
especially if you're a badass
In
neurosurgeon.
1984.
But it wasn't even really that romantic of an interest either. She was just there.
But you know that's
Yeah,
That's where it was headed. Yeah.
I mean,
That's what's
she's
gonna
even
happen.
like, "Who's that on your countertop photo?" And you're like, well, "It's my dead wife, bitch."
yeah. That's my ex, which is your twin sister. He's like, if it was a snake, it would have bit me.
Did they explain what happened to his wife? Did I miss that
No,
part?
no.
Okay.
They didn't
Once
explain
again,
any of that. Yeah,
well,
see?
They don't do
because-
anything to
Yeah,
lead up to
but
it.
you knew it was there.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember that it.
They
was a
don't really
thing.
talk
I
about
just-
it. You don't see it until that picture.
They did
Right?
really
You're
good,
like, oh.
actually, of like still getting that point across, but not actually telling you what. You know.
And I think
correct.
that's what they did a good job in this movie a lot.
Okay,
You know,
Yeah,
they're
that
like,
makes
okay,
sense.
there's some things going on that are already in play.
you just got to watch for a few seconds.
Yeah, it's going to unfold as
Right.
it goes, which is kind of a cool idea because
Replay value.
now you're not only replay value, but you're taking a journey now. We're not establishing that these things happen until it actually affects you as a viewer.
Right. The roots have been set.
Yeah.
And you're getting to the core.
So here's something that I noticed who made this movie, and I think you were right. 20th Century Fox.
Yep.
Does that mean Disney owns this movie now?
Possibly. I think I just think this fucking movie is so fucking cool. Look at the poster. Look at that shit. And what's ill timing about this is of us having this podcast about this and you seen it for the first time. Most people nowadays know this movie from Ready Player One. Have you seen Ready Player One yet?
No, I haven't. Not yet.
I haven't either.
Okay. You guys need to watch it. You need to watch it. It's a pretty fucking cool movie. It really is. But there's a huge reference to Buckaroo Banzai in it. And it's kind of, whenever that happened, I was like so excited because I had already read about that they were going to talk about it in there. And I was like, oh my God, because I'm like part of the Banzai Institute Facebook group and all the different groups that are part of that on the
right.
whatnot. And I was like, all right, I can't wait for it. And then it popped up and I was like, all right, that's so cool. But now it's like there's going to be all these fanboy kids that are probably 100% about it because of that.
It's going to be that happens with a lot of things that you're just everything. Like, now you're a fanboy, really?
Yeah, but this part of it, this is a movie that you suspend disbelief to, and that's, I think, what's lost in movies nowadays because of the internet. Because people go in with a preconceived notion, like the fucking Star Wars shit gets on my nerves. Fucking Star Wars. Enjoy the shit, man. Don't give a fuck about it. You cannot touch the Holy Trilogy. You can't.
You can't. And I'm not trying to.
Those are the fucking best. And that's that you leave that, you say, okay, that was a different time period. It was 1977 to 1983. It kind of comes
back to continuity, though. Like, you just totally took something, like, way out of reach of... Yeah.
But what's so cool about it, it's a fucking Star Wars movie.
Right.
We spent more than half of our life without Star Wars.
Yeah. True.
Whenever they started coming out with them on VHS, on the really good VHS ones, and they did the re-releases in the 90s, 97.
Where everybody was butthurt.
All I had was those videos, and I used to watch those videos over and over again. I mean, I'm always in love with Star Wars, always going to be. They came out with the new ones. Fuck yeah, Jar Jar Binks sucked. Who cares? It was fucking Star Wars.
Absolutely.
Yep.
It was fucking Star Wars.
Well, I'll tell you, for as much crap as those movies got, that's really what got my daughters into Star Wars.
Yeah. I saw Jedi like 5 or 6 times,
just
as
anything
a kid.
space and speeders and all this other stuff.
So
like,
cool.
How could you not like it as a kid?
Everybody back in the day hated the fucking Ewoks whenever they came out.
Yeah.
They were
because
according
to canon, it was supposed to be Wookiees.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But they couldn't do it, so they added the fucking teddy bears.
And not only that, the teddy bears are what brought the kids in. I mean, that's why my sister liked Return of the Jedi.
Correct.
It wasn't because of all the other crap. That's what I like Return of the Jedi for.
Return of the Jedi to me is my favorite one out of all of them. Not because of that, not because of anything, not because of my age. It's because that culminated everything. And that's what I think would happen with Buckaroo Banzai. I think there would be enough of us that enjoy it, would want to go into it and say, fuck it. I don't care what they do. It's cool. It's another Buckaroo Banzai movie. I guess we can get into the final thoughts.
All right.
Who wants to go first?
Not me.
Okay. Well, I don't really know what I would say other than what we've already kind of exploited. I mean, like I said, there was a lot in the movie. Not a lot of setup. Not a lot of character development. Really.
But it was there.
But it was
somehow,
there. It was
they make you tie it together.
Exactly, exactly. So it makes you work for what's happening.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And I like the idea, like we were talking about before, of suddenly now you're an adventure.
Yeah.
I did not necessarily... I think it just took my brain a minute to process the fact that this guy could go from brain surgeon to rocket scientist to the rock star bit. Like, I was like, what the hell's happening right now?
This is just going nutty.
But no, overall, I actually enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I was surprised that I enjoyed watching it a second time.
Yeah.
I was like, and actually, I probably enjoyed it more the second time than I did the first time.
Because you're able to tie more into, like, because you have to make those bridges, so you make the connection. It doesn't mean it's a strong connection, and then you start building up the bridge.
And now that you've mentioned that there was a different cinematographer involved,
it
that
totally
makes sense to me now, because that's like some of the weakest points of the movie, where I'm like,
How did
you
they
put
go
so
from-
much effort into this?
Yeah.
Besides your, F-150 fucking rocket truck.
Yeah.
They work with what they got. No,
Well,
just kidding.
exactly.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
but
just
they did.
big-
They put so much effort into this movie, and there was so much going on.
Yeah.
And for those small cinematography gaffes that were in there, you're like, that's not necessarily budgetary.
No.
That's the eye, right?
Yeah.
That's the eye behind the camera.
It's the person and the other person just had totally two different ways of doing cinematography,
Absolutely.
which is kind of an ode or a nod to like the fact of how much a cinematographer can change a movie.
Absolutely.
Like they still kept it good, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, it's like you can get a totally different vibe off of a cinematographer, and they
Agreed.
could make or break the movie.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Well, I mean, I know it's apparent that this is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah,
It's everything about a movie that you want to see in a movie. You want to go in there with no expectation.
that's what I did. I didn't even watch a trailer when we were talking about it or anything.
No.
I started watching a trailer just so I could see, like, almost see the cinematography.
But I would almost dare to say that as a movie, of everything going together, I would almost say that this is one of the best smart movies.
Weirdly smart, but you don't notice it right away.
You have to want to work at it, and it
wanna
makes
know-
that movie so smart for everybody that's watching it. You're just like, damn. Maybe that's being a little. I'm not saying that I'm smart and being like, oh, I'm so smart because I get this movie. No, fuck that. No, it's just like one of those movies that was made in a way that makes you want to be a part of it.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
My final thoughts are from having no previous like thoughts about this movie whatsoever. Going into it, immediately thought I missed something. Like I really truly did feel lost. And then all of a sudden I'm like, I got to go back and rewatch the beginning because it must have started like a few minutes in or something, and then I look and I'm like, nope, that's not it. And then by far a favorite character, what's his face, the bad guy.
Oh yeah, John Warfin.
Slash
Blew my mind that it's not
Lizardo.
Russian and it's Italian. What? But at the same time, overall, awesome. It was just one of those movies where you see something and you're either going to go, oh, that's cool, or oh, that's funny. Like it had either one of those two things in it, and it just rocked it. Yeah.
Well, and on that note,
Have a good night, everybody. Bye, everybody. Well, wasn't that a doozy? Well, thanks for listening, everyone. Remember to rate us and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. We look forward to your discussions and feedback on Facebook and Instagram at Dropped Culture Podcast and on Twitter at Culture Dropped. You can also hit us up by email at dropculturedpodcast@gmail.com and check us out on our website, droppedculture.com.